welcome back to Dimensional Soul Healing with your host, Gracen. All right, guys, I've got a few updates for y'all before we get into the episode today. So, first things first. If you have not heard about my sexual trauma healing course and you are brand new here, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here today. I have created a unique, super nitty-gritty, in-depth sexual trauma healing course to help you heal your relationship with your sex life, yourself, your erotic self, which exists in the non-physical aspect of yourself, and your relationship with the divine erotic aspect of source energy. So, as a luminary, I teach you how to summon powerful forces to ignite some much-needed deep healing. Prepare to evolve your consciousness and receive the most unbelievable insight. You can find that course directly on my website at www.zenwithgracen.com. Be sure to sign up for a free account. That way, all of your stuff is tracked and you can see your progress. I believe that if you sign up as a guest, you won't be able to go back in and find the course and everything. So just make it easier, make your life easy, and just sign up for your account. I promise I don't spam you with crazy marketing emails. Okay. Also, I have a financial wound healing course coming out in December. December 1st is when I'm going to launch it. So that's literally, less than 2 weeks from now? So crazy. Oh my God. That course is designed to basically untangle all of the chains, the shackles, the limitations, releasing ancestral stuff that isn't even yours, all of your money blocks, manifestation blocks, all of that good stuff. I thought about making a separate course for manifestation. Actually, I think I might do that. But this will also help clear some manifestation issues as well indirectly from doing this healing. But if you are struggling and financially and you are trying to escape the matrix, you are trying to grow your own business and do your own thing, this course will be perfect for you. It is totally designed to take you to the next levels, okay? Remember, money is a consciousness. And what do I love to do? I love to expand your consciousness. So if you want to be able to hold on to more capacity of financial abundance and financial energy, you need to have financial responsibility, the energetic space to hold that. Anyways, that will also be found on my website as well. And then starting December 1st, we have so many things happening December 1st. It's going to be a busy month for the holiday season. So I am launching yoga online memberships through my website. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I've had several people ask me about doing yoga online, especially the one that I teach. It is a hybrid combination of Bodhi yoga and Tibetan yoga. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was filming my videos this week and this is going to be intense. I have never experienced the kind of release and healing that I have gone through in cultivating this unique practice. So I'm super excited to launch that. So if y'all are interested in this unique hybrid yoga cultivation that I'm creating, be sure to check that out. That's already live on the website. I just need to finish uploading my videos. So I have 2 separate yoga memberships. We have one that is going to be 4 classes a month, and those 4 classes are going to be designed to help you navigate the energies of that month with ease. So there's going to be a lot of releasing, letting going, upgrading, ascending, bringing in new frequencies into your body. So yeah. If you're the kind of person that loves to do just weekly classes as a supplement and to complement any current program that you're doing, definitely check that one out. It is $88 a month. There is no 3-month contract or anything crazy like that. You can totally cancel whenever. And you can actually choose to cancel a month out or just immediately. So there's freedom with that. And then I have unlimited yoga for $222 monthly. So you're going to have, if you're the kind of person who likes to do 3 or more classes a week, that will be for you. Okay. And so for both memberships, I will be adding a channeled message for the monthly energies to help you navigate through your practices much easier, and you kind of know what to expect a little bit. And then that way you can enjoy your practice more, right? Like you don't have to be like sitting in your head and getting distracted, not being able to focus on enjoying just being in your practice, right? And so yeah, the Bodhi and Tibetan yoga hybrid that I'm creating, it is designed to awaken and deepen your practice to help assist you in getting to the nitty-gritty of the energetic roots that are manifesting as blocks and issues in your physical life, okay? So if you are interested in the yoga memberships, go to my website, www.zenwithgracen.com. I'm going to link all of this stuff in the show notes below at the end, so that way it'll be an easy directory towards that. But yeah, keep an eye out for December 1st. That is the official launch of the yoga memberships. I've just soft launched it for now. For those of y'all who have been waiting so patiently. And so yeah, that is going to be amazing. So make sure you sign up for an account as well. If you're just interested in doing the yoga membership, I've sampled it on my end, so you can't really purchase it as a guest because it just like disappears into the system. So yeah, make sure you create your own free account. Like I said again, I don't spam you with marketing emails. And then just sign up for your desired membership and then deepen, awaken, and enjoy. And then last but not least, last update, this is like the one I'm mostly excited about. So starting December 15th, 2023, I will be doing monthly, possibly bi-monthly sound baths at Heighten Vitality in Draper, Utah. So if you live in the area, if you live in Riverton, South Jordan, Salt Lake County, even Utah County, I don't know the other counties north. But yeah, if you're close by, within an hour of a drive, definitely come check me out. Come check out Heighten Vitality. Y'all, okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm very sensitive to energies, like very, 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 very sensitive. And it has to do, the reason why I'm very sensitive is because of this extremely traumatic past life I went through in my last lifetime before I incarnated here. And so because of that, I am able to literally feel everything so deeply, especially healing frequencies. So yeah, I went and checked out this place, and basically you walk in the building and there's a room full of I think there was 12 recliner chairs. And it's just super dimly lit. It's very nice and dark and peaceful and silent. And there's, there's 1, 2, 3, I don't know, there was several machines in there that emit healing frequencies. I'm totally not gonna lie, when I saw those screens, they literally triggered me because they reminded me of this past lifetime. But anyways, and so yeah, I was standing in the room and I was whoa, this is so intense and so powerful. I could feel energies coming out of my crown chakra, coming out of my root, my feet, my ankles, my legs. Yeah, it's a very, very powerful healing center. And so the machines are designed to emit healing frequencies, and they're just blasting the entire room. The owner was telling me that the frequencies stretch out to 2.5 miles, from the location. So I thought that was incredible too. But yeah, it was very intense for me in a good way. And the owner of that business wants to collaborate, and he wants me to do sound baths there every month, and possibly bi-monthly, depends on how busy it gets. I'm sure we're going to sell out, because the combination of my sound bath healing that I do plus those machines that are emitting those frequencies is going to be extremely powerful for people. So I'm very excited about that. And just as a reminder, it is going to be December 15th. Let me just double check my calendar. Yes, December 15th from 2 to 3 p.m. So it'll be about an hour session. And basically all you do is you just lay in the recliner chair, and I'll be playing my sound bowls as well as my tongue drum, and then you just get to sit back and relax. So yeah, my mom did a session for 2 hours, and she said that she felt old energy leaving out of her mouth, her gums, her eyes. It was super deep and super intense. And then I think they give you a foot salt bath thing to take home afterwards, which is really nice. I think that is an amazing touch after that place, because it's so intense and so deeply healing. And so, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Oh, so excited. I'm going to post all of this stuff in the show notes, so don't worry if you forget. It's going to be amazing. December and moving forward, it's going to be amazing. And okay, so with that being said, let's get into the episode. All right, guys, we are officially in the transitionary period of leaving Scorpio season into Sagittarius season. Woo-woo! I'm a Sagittarius, and my birthday is December 5th, so it is almost here, and I'm so excited because I freaking love Sagittarius season. Like, I love the wise, philosophical, like, mind-deep, conversational kind of energy for the holiday season. It's literally my absolute favorite. Like, oh my gosh. I love being a Sagittarius. Like, freaking love it. Anyways, I want to talk today about, this is going to be more towards the Sagittarius energetic theme. So just to kind of like have this doorway out of Scorpio season, I want to talk about the different themes of consciousness. So I'm sure most of you have heard about, if not, there is usually the conversation of third dimensional consciousness, fourth dimensional consciousness, and fifth dimensional consciousness. There are other consciousnesses as well, like sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and so on and so forth. But for the sake of our human brain, we're just going to keep it to just the basic three. And so within each realm of the consciousness are different, I feel like themes is the best word to use, are different themes. And so, for example, I was born in 1996, okay? So I grew up very 3D. The Earth was still in a third dimensional consciousness collectively. And I experienced a lot of rejection, judgment, like trying to think, like overwhelm for sure. Insecurity, I'm still healing that one. that one's still a work in progress. Oh yeah, this is a triggering one. Violation, okay? Boundaries, being sexually abused, right? Feeling inadequate, and also being very distrustful. I didn't trust anybody. I don't know about y'all, but I can remember being, God, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was super young. And I was like with my dad, and so my dad's side of the family, they are all Jewish, okay? And it's very common in the Jewish culture to go to a bunch of gatherings, like with a lot of other Jewish people, and, you know, everyone comes together for holidays and like that community energy. Sometimes they come together for like special events, like if, like I feel like it was always like, everyone came together for like a celebration, like a celebratory kind of purpose. Like whether it was like my grandfather's like 80th birthday kind of thing, or they celebrated donating like $45,000 to charity. Like, I don't know, just something, you know, just different things to celebrate. And so anyway, I remember being around a bunch of older men, and I like did not trust any of them. Like, I remember being 3 to 4 years old, and I was just like, get away from me. Like, don't talk to me. Like, I don't trust you. And yeah, that has stuck with me for a while. But now, like, you know, tapping into my psychic abilities and everything, I know easily who I can and can't trust. So yeah. So anyways, I wouldn't say I went through loss, like that energetic theme of loss. I want to say more like when I was in a high school, my high school era, and my young adult life when I was starting to date. Like, I really had a lot of karmic lessons of letting go around that time in my life, and I don't think that wasn't in the third dimensional consciousness, but that is a theme of wounded consciousness in the third dimension frequency. And so anyways, I think the Earth had shifted into fourth dimensional consciousness at that point. We're still collectively in a fourth dimensional consciousness frequency collectively on the planet. And very soon we're going to be shifting into the fifth dimensional consciousness frequency of the planet. And so for the remainder of our lifetime, we're going to be coexisting in the fifth dimensional frequency on planet Earth. And so I'll go into what the themes are in consciousness for that. And so anyways, so yeah, I went through a lot of that as part of like my 3D reality. And as I got older, I really started like, I swear, I feel like my first 25 years of living was just pure karmic lessons. Like, it's just craziness, okay? Like, I would say I started to shift into my fifth dimensional consciousness probably when I turned 23, maybe 23? Was I 23? I know it started in 2020. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm like doing math. Okay, that was 3 years ago. So yeah, 23. That's right. Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. And then as I started to shift into my fourth dimensional reality, right, I started shifting into a new consciousness space of understanding, more acceptance, this kind of ease, like state, like I didn't have to work as hard, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Like it was, everything just kind of got a little bit easier. And then when I was existing in my third dimensional consciousness space, I was like major hustler. Like I worked myself to death and I like, barely survived. And it was like every time I increased my consciousness, like the easier my life got, like the less I had to work. I'm like, how does that work? It just works. Just trust me, okay? I've done the life experience for you. Just take my word for it. And so, yeah, I would say after my out-of-body experience in 2020, that's when I started to, like, rapidly shift from, because that experience, it took me straight into fourth dimension frequency because, right, like, I left the physical realm, and I literally saw, like, I saw where I was sleeping, I saw the kind of energies that were in my space, I could see the world, I could see, like, where I was living, and so that just opened me up to more like accountability, like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm the reason why I'm experiencing like my life this way. Like, instead of it just being like this external projection of it being somebody else's fault, right? Like that victim mentality, like I started to shift out of victim mentality and started to shift into like a creator mentality. Like, like maybe I'm actually in charge of my reality. Like maybe things are not like what I thought they were. And so, yeah, I'm telling y'all, that experience literally changed everything for me and like the way I think and everything. So, yeah, then I started sitting in this like accountability energy, this self-motivation energy, right? Like I was like, okay, like how can I take responsibility and accountability for all this stuff that I'm creating? Like I was like very questioning everything. I feel like I've always questioned things, but it was just a different layer, a different depth of questioning. So when I was existing in third dimensional consciousness frequency, like the only way I was going to believe something is if someone did a science experiment in front of my face and like proved it to me that way. There was no indoctrinating me with any kind of beliefs. Like if I could not see it play out, I was not believing it like blindly. That just was not happening. And I think that's why I had a hard time in my history classes because I was like, well, how do you know that actually happened? Like, I used to hate history class because like you could literally like, they could tell you anything and you would just have to believe it and then regurgitate it to pass like your test, It's like, how do you even know that actually happened and how do you know it's accurate? You know what I mean? Like people forge documents to this day and it's like, how would you know? How do you know that you know? Kind of thing. And so, yeah, I feel like I've always questioned things, but like when I existed in the third dimensional consciousness, like you literally could not convince me or tell me what to believe in until I saw it in like a science experiment, Other than that, there was just no telling me like anything. You couldn't tell me that the government was manipulating the weather. I remember my old personal trainer, I'm going to leave his name anonymous, but he was so awesome. He was so good at his job. Ooh, he like helped me snatch my body so good. But anyways, yeah, I worked out with him when I was existing in my third dimensional consciousness, and he told me one day, Because I guess, like, he thought I was super open-minded from my, like, science brain, you know? Like, I was open-minded a little bit, but not as much as I thought I was, right? Like, and so anyway, he was like, did you know that the government manipulates the weather? And I was just like, no, they don't. Like, why would they do that, you know? Oh, it was so naive. Like, just so, like, ignorantly, like, just, what is it called? Blissfully ignorant, right? Like, I didn't even understand the government structure, you know? So, like, I could barely pay attention in history class. So I was like, I didn't really know anything about the government and, like, what they did and, you know, who gets there, how they get there, what they do to maintain their positions, right? Like, I didn't know about the money trails and all that stuff, right? Like, you just grew up, like, so ignorant, like, just thinking, like, well, you know, everyone in government just gets elected and it's fair. It's like, okay, well, no. That doesn't work that way. But anyways, our whole system is a big freaking illusion. So anyway. And then when I got into, like, the fourth dimension frequency of consciousness, I shifted into, holy cow, like, why is this the way this is? Like, what's the reason? What's the intention here, right? Like, in third dimension consciousness, I could not see the intention behind anything. Like, it was just, it had to be played out in front of my face kind of thing, which is why it's so easy to manipulate people in a third dimensional consciousness space, right? Because they're not as sensitive to the energies and, their consciousness just isn't as expanded, right? And so anyways, once I got into the fourth dimension frequency, I was questioning everything. I was, right, like, I was following the money trails, and then I started to realize, like, okay, like, things are not as they seem, like I suspected. Okay, well, now I'm aware that there's corruption, and it's, like, major low vibrational corruption. There's a major imbalance of power and everything in just the worst ways, right? Like, I was just becoming aware of both sides of the coin. So it was just, like, I remember when I was existing in third dimensional consciousness, I would say that I was a liberal, but I wasn't an extreme liberal. And it was because I was able to relate to, like, I have such a deep connection with nature and earth spirits and medicine women, like, very, very, very connected to nature and water. And so, you know, learning about, like, you know, quote unquote, global warming, right? Like, I used to be a hella big advocate on that until, you know, I have the capacity to now channel my own information and actually access the truth, like the different layers of truth to what is being projected outside of myself. And so anyways, yeah, a lot of that stuff disturbed me when I was in third dimensional consciousness. But now, being in fourth dimensional consciousness, I was like, well, okay, I remember doing science experiments in my plant physiology classes in university, and I remember seeing, like, the detrimental effects of increasing CO2, carbon dioxide, right? Like, I was like, and then I started to question. I said, okay, if global warming is real, what is actually causing it, right? Like, where, I, like, started asking questions. I'm like, okay, first of all, who started that? Who started saying global warming? Where did this come from? Okay, and then when I found out where it started and, you know, the person who started that label or that movement, I'm like, okay, does this person have good intentions or do they have negative intentions, right? What do they know that most people don't know, right? Because you're able to, like, broadcast something and project it out to the public, right? It's like, okay, you have access to information, but as we know, through the news and through religion, everybody skews the truth and puts their own spin on it, right? Which is what makes it, like, totally biased and totally not, like, factual, you know? And so then I started to question that, and I was like, well, what are they skewing? Like, what's the skewed information here? What's the actual truth? Like, what's hidden underneath this projection, right? And so then I would, like, access that information. And so, like, the more, like, healing I kept doing within myself, right? Like, I was acknowledging the inner world. I was acknowledging my own inner world of my own darkness, basically. So with healing, with up-leveling and shifting your consciousness, you have to 100% acknowledge every single aspect of yourself, okay? So a lot of you may or may not be familiar with the term the shadow self, the shadow identity, right? It's an aspect of yourself where jealousy exists, where enviness exists, where thievery, if you have stealing kind of energy, you feel called to steal for whatever reason, that energy exists in there, right? Like it's the aspect of yourself that you don't want to look at, right? Like everybody, I remember this one crystal store I used to go to. I'm totally going to leave them anonymous because it was a part of my soul journey to learn from them, like what not to do, basically. And so, yeah, anyways, they were very big advocates on just love and light. Like there was just no acknowledgement of the darkness within. It was like, oh no, we're too good for that kind of energy. Like, no, we're only light. And it's like, no, hate to break it to you, but we live in a binary universe. And so there's light and dark within everything, right? It's just a matter of what is the balance. And so yeah, then I started to get honest with myself, right? That was intense. Radical self-honesty. Ooh, man, y'all, I trigger myself all the time. So trust me, I get it. I know I trigger, like it's my job. It's literally my purpose to trigger people and to trigger their wounds to surface so that they can shift into their best life, right? But yeah, I can tell you from triggering myself and from doing my own healing that it's totally worth it. And once you integrate that shadow aspect of yourself and actually learn to love yourself wholeheartedly, 100%, right? Like, let me give you an example of shadow work, of integrating shadow work, okay? And then we'll move on to the fifth dimensional themes of consciousness. So we're still in 4D, right? Like, which is our understanding, acceptance energy, accountability energy, right? You're taking self-accountability, radical accountability. That's hard for some people to do, but once you do it, it's like, oh, that was easy. Like, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too scary, you know? It used to terrify me to take accountability and responsibility, but then, like, when I made the choice to do it, I was like, oh, like, that was it? Okay. I thought I was going to die. You know what I mean? Like, just these irrational fears just get squashed. And so anyways, so for example, I remember I was driving out in public with my mom. She was like going to get her shaved ice because she loves to get shaved ice. And I was looking over, it was summertime. I was looking over at this family and they had a huge boat. Like it was very nice. They were putting gas in it. I literally have no idea how to put gas in a boat. I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. I grew up literally on the water and it literally like frustrates and annoys me, right? Here comes my shadow. It annoys and frustrates me that I grew up on the water and I was surrounded by so many people who gate kept like a nice, decent lifestyle. It's like I was always surrounded by people who projected at me, well, I had to struggle, so you have to struggle. My life sucked, so your life has to suck. Like, I literally, y'all, my own grandparents, especially my grandfather, literally, he was very well aware of wealth building things like a Roth IRA and bonds and stuff like that, right? Like, he has additional knowledge on basically how to maintain his wealth and increase it. And it's like, okay, you're my family. Like, you're supposed to help me. You're supposed to, like, want to see me do well. Like, how dysfunctional and screwed up is that you're literally going to, like, gatekeep that kind of information from me? Like, you know what I mean? It's just frustrating. So anyways, so I had that energy just, like, sitting in me, just staring at these people, this family, with their boat. And I was like, huh. You know, I'm kind of jealous. I'm jealous. And then I asked myself, after I gave myself permission to feel that emotion, I was like, okay, I felt the jealousy. What's here for me? Why do I feel jealous? You experience jealousy. That emotion is there to show you what your soul actually desires. So when you see other things in public or other people in public and you're experiencing jealousy, you could be jealous that, you know, of their energy, of the way they look. And it's not even just the way they look. It's like your soul desire to have 10 out of 10 personal hygiene. It's your soul desire to find your best wardrobe that makes you look the prettiest, right? Like, it's your 10 out of 10 soul desire to own a boat one day and, like, make that a regular thing. You know what I mean? And so then anyway, that is an example of being in that fourth dimensional energy and going, okay, I accept that I feel jealous. I understand why I'm taking accountability. All right, like what can I do now to take myself to the next level? Okay, so now we're going to shift into the fifth dimensional theme of consciousness. So yeah, we went from 3D, which is like victim mentality, right? Like the victim perpetrator roles, shifted into a self-empowered mentality, right? That's what we just talked about, like empowering yourself, literally through having those conversations with yourself. And I know it sounds like crazy and ridiculous to some people, but like that is literally what is necessary to evolve and shift. Like you are the only person that is standing in your way from accessing what it is that you want to access. So, okay. Now, moving into the fifth dimensional frequency consciousness. My fave. Okay, so this is unity mentality. This is where, if some of you have heard unity consciousness, this is what the planet is shifting into, okay? We're not there yet. We're on our way there, though. It should... Last time I tuned in, I think... I'm not sure if it was 2028, where the planet actually is contracted to shift into that frequency overall. But anyways, so the themes of fifth dimensional consciousness is love and inner peace, right? There's no internal conflicts. You're not at war with yourself, right? Like it's just, you totally 100% love yourself. You're totally at peace with your life. You are experiencing freedom and happiness, like in all aspects of your life, okay? Personally, I'm almost there. I'm not there yet. I'm like, my goal is to get there before the planet shifts because I'm very like ambitious and I literally try to find every way to heal myself every single day. Some teachers will say that's being obsessive with shadow work, but I just call it, I'm going to live my best life regardless of your own opinions. So anyways, so yeah, the themes are freedom, happiness, right? Like how many of you know, or not even personally know, but how many of you are aware of currently rich celebrities, rich figures who you know are not actually freaking happy, who you know are not actually free, right? I kind of feel called to talk about this, but for those individuals that end up selling their soul, they get into these contracts with really low vibrational beings and they do blood sex rituals or whatever. I don't know the different tiers of what they do to accumulate a certain amount of wealth, but do you think those individuals who sell their soul for fame and money, do you think they're actually free? Like, just think about that, okay? When people do that, they literally, what they do, okay, when somebody sells their soul, okay, when a being sells their soul, what they're doing is they are basically moving their consciousness. Like, I don't know how to describe this. It's like, basically you're like in a prison, okay, consciously. And another energy is like running your body. Like, it's just so fucked up. I really just, ew, can't do it. Would never do that. No, not for me. But just think about that. Like right now, you are a full, totally conscious being. You're in charge of your life. Imagine not being in charge of your life and just sitting in the back seat while somebody else runs you around and makes your own decisions and is living its own life in your body. Like, that's literally what it's like. It's just, ew. Oh my God. No. People who do that are not free. And do you think they're happy? No. They're the most depressed ones, right? Like, so that goes to show you that money does not equal freedom. Well, money can bring you freedom, yes. Like financial freedom. But it doesn't equal happiness, right? So those people who do have all that money, they're not actually happy. And they're not consciously free, okay? So for those of you who desire to be consciously free, financially free, happiness, right? Like you want that in all aspects of your life. You want a pure, unconditional love reflecting in your friendships and your relationships. You desire inner peace. That is the consciousness you need to be striving for, okay? I have created a program on my website. It's called Enlighten Your Minds, and it is meant to shift you from the third dimensional consciousness to higher dimensional consciousness, okay? Like, it goes way past 5D, but yeah, you will start to feel those themes of consciousness after taking that program, okay? You're going to shift from victim mentality to this observer creator perspective, right? You're going to start to realize that you are in charge of your life. You are in charge of how much pure unconditional love, bliss, joy, happiness, freedom you actually desire to experience, okay? And I know we all have our soul contracts. I know we all have old energies to play out, which is why most of us are not ready to fully experience that lifestyle yet. But let me tell you this. I had this download, I think, was it a week or two ago? The reason why you're not living your best life right now is because you are attached to your traumas. You are in love with them, right? They are familiar to you. When you learn to release those root program beliefs, you release those attachments to the traumas that you're still clinging on to, and you reprogram that energy, guess what? You are now shifting, you're choosing, creating to shift into your best life possible, right? So let's see if I can give an example on that. Okay, so let's just start with, okay, here we go. I kind of want to talk about getting rejected because I feel like this is like the deepest wound I feel like that exists in humanity, honestly. So, when we get rejected at a young age, we develop this program in our root chakra and also in the subconscious mind and anywhere else we might take that energy on, right? We tell ourselves, allegedly, that we are unlovable, okay? So there are many different traumas that we can go through that will trigger that program to basically get encoded into our energy. So, for example, let's just use Utah for an example. In Utah, if you grew up with a major religious Mormon family, LDS family, I don't know the difference. They all are like the same thing to me. And as a kid, so close to the veil, still remembering unconditional love, freedom, happiness, joy, like, right, your pure essence, who you are as your authentic self version. So before your indoctrinated program self, right? So you get immersed into a major brainwashed family. You incarnate into this major brainwashed family who is just trying to project their programmings onto you, which is conditional love. And it clashes with unconditional love, right? You can't, like, okay, to experience unconditional love, like, I'm sorry, this is going to be super triggering, but you're not going to find that in a church, okay? It's not happening. Why? Because the religious institutions are designed to take your power away, to attack your solar plexus chakra, right? To suppress your truth, suppress your throat chakra, and to basically make your life unstable. When you absorb the programming that you are unlovable and you start having your root chakra foundations messed with, guess what? That's going to affect your ability to be financially free, happy, sovereign, right? Like, you're not going to feel like you're a sovereign being when you have your power taken away constantly, like getting sucked into a religious institution, you know what I mean? One observation I made several times, actually, for those of you who don't know, Utah in the United States, okay, I've been to almost all the states here, and let me just say, this is the only state that has a church in like almost every single like street and neighborhood. It's so freaky. It's like, it's just so freaky. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's weird. Anyways, so every single time I drive past those buildings, I don't ever see anybody driving a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a really nice, expensive car. Like, they just drive like those, mom vans, those mom cars. You know what I mean? Like, you can just tell where they're at consciously, you know? And somebody who is not limited, like people who do not have a lot of limitations in their consciousness, do you think they're going to be going to church? No. You're limiting yourself. It's a limiting belief system, okay? You can totally believe in God. You can totally believe in source without going to a building, without following a book that a person wrote, right, to instill fear and low vibrational frequencies into your root chakra, right? That's also going to mess with your foundations and your freedoms. And so, yeah, a way to shift out of that, okay, is, sorry, I'm like trying to think about, let's see. So we talked about the program. We talked about the traumas that caused that wound. Okay. Let's just say, okay. The first step to healing this wounded theme of consciousness, okay, is to first acknowledge that you were projected on, that you were abused, okay? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, right? There's a lot of psychological abuse that comes with cult-like mentalities like the Mormon religion, like Scientology, like Jehovah's Witnesses, right? They all have a similar energetic pattern. I literally can see it through my third eye, and I can feel it like go over my crown chakra. Like it literally feels like, it's like, the best way I can describe it, the way I feel it, it feels like a bunch of like tiny bugs that exist in this like massive like body odor kind of air that it just like goes over your head. And I'm like, ew, like gross. Like I guarantee you if everyone could feel what I was feeling, like churches would not exist. Okay, they just wouldn't. They'd be like, what the hell have I been doing my whole life kind of thing. Anyways, so grateful for my sensitive ability. But yeah, that's the first step, is acknowledging that you were projected onto, okay? And recognizing that you were innocent, okay? And that it's healthy for you to identify abuse, okay? Another great way is for healing is to send back people's stuff, right? I send back my dad, his traumas, all of his stuff that he projected onto me. I now send that back to him. I now send back my mom's stuff. I send back my sister's stuff. I send back my grandparents' stuff. You know, you can literally send back people's stuff that they projected onto you when you were a kid, right? Like as a kid, you more than likely took on other people's stuff that wasn't yours to deal with. And then also, okay, this one's huge, right? So reminding yourself that you're always worthy of love. When we go through, I talk about this in the beginning of my ebook, but when we go through shaming, projection, major divisive households, chaotic, dysfunctional households, we actually start separating ourselves from that unconditional love that we felt and remembered as children, and we start moving into conditional love. We start to forget, as we grow older, we start to forget what it was like to be unconditionally loved. And so when we forget that, we have this belief that, well, I forgot what it was like, and, you know, I've been so far away from it for so long that, you know, am I really worthy of receiving that love? Like, do I really deserve it, you know? And yeah, I'm here to tell you that you freaking deserve unconditional love. 100%, absolutely. You freaking deserve that. You matter, your life matters, and also, you know, boundaries are healthy. That's a huge one too. But yeah, and that is the biggest issue with the, if you want to call them the dark, right? The dark figures on this planet, is they are so far, so separated from source energy that they literally have forgotten what it was like to experience that pure unconditional love, okay? So just think about where you're at, like in your own life, like your own kind of relationship dynamics, right? Like, you know, you're a light being and you're just like, man, like, do I even deserve to be unconditionally loved by my partner? I think it's so funny how we do that. But it's like, just imagine where you're at, and then imagine like a being that's of the dark, right? Like they're not even of the light. Like they're actually, their energy is dark, and their roles are to cause chaos, cause dysfunction, induce pain, right? Like, and it basically, all of it is designed to go back to unconditional love, okay? And that's the thing, is the darkness does not remember their connection to source, that feeling, that sensation of unconditional love, which is why when I remove those kinds of dark entities in my healing sessions, they literally scream, because when they feel that unconditional love, it's so intense that they're like, ah! So when I remove them, they're literally going back to the creator. They're going back to source. And so just imagine like that kind of sensation, how freaking powerful that feels, like how intense it feels. I have had multiple out-of-body experiences where I have felt source touch the back of my higher throat chakra, like literally touching my energy, touching my soul, and it was so intense. I literally couldn't stand it. I was like, oh my God, I need to get back to my physical body because this is so freaking intense and so powerful, okay? And that is like the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this huge healing podcast, which is energy healing. It's not about necessarily like, it's okay. Let me put this into different words. Energy healing is really just about getting reused to experiencing happiness, joy, freedom, bliss, right? When you're not ready to let go of a trauma or your old self, your old survival self, and you start getting confronted with like your highest vibrational reality, like when you start getting confronted with those things, you'll be like, this is so intense, like, because it literally is. It's just pure unconditional love, like freedom, like it's literally everything your soul is desiring. Your soul desires to be happy. It desires to be unconditionally loved. It desires all of those things. And so it's really just a matter of stepping out of your own way and working through your traumas, your triggers. I don't know if I said wounds, but your wounds, right? Like working through those themes of the wounded consciousness, moving up and shifting into that freedom, into that happiness, into that inner peace, that unconditional love, right? That is the goal. And it sounds a lot easier, it's a lot easier said than done. Trust me, I know. Because when I do healing on myself and I'm literally transitioning out of a low frequency somewhere in my energy and I move into a higher frequency, I'll be like, like it literally is intense. And I will sometimes like scream a little bit because it's so powerful. Like, and I feel that. I feel the energies. I feel the frequencies. But yeah, there's so much I could say about this and so many different kind of conversational routes I can take. But, yeah, I think I'm going to call it good here. I feel like this was a really good in-depth conversation to help you guys kind of navigate where you're at consciously, and to kind of know that we're not linear beings. Like, we are literally multidimensional beings. And so there are going to be aspects of your consciousness that are still existing in the 3D, and there's going to be some that are existing in the 4D and the 5D. And so I thought about like making like a little chart just to kind of like give you guys, like making like one of those like online quizzes, so you can see like where your consciousness is at and like if you fully shifted or not. Like, that'd be pretty cool. I might do that. I might create that. But anyways, yeah, so it kind of gives you guys an idea of where to start your healing, right? Like, if you're like, okay, you know what? I haven't been feeling overwhelmed in a while. I feel pretty good about that. Like, but I have been having my boundaries violated. Violation is a theme of wounded consciousness. Like, okay, how can I dig super deep here to where I can totally shift that, Oh my God, y'all, the biggest freaking discovery I made was I came across this quote. Well, what was it? Oh my gosh, I literally have to find it for you guys because it triggered me. Like, it triggered me so deep, but like in a good way, where I was like, that makes sense. Like, I get it, but like I could not wrap my head around it. I feel like I'm almost there. But yeah, it was a powerful, powerful quote. Ooh, okay, yeah, here we go. Prepare yourself. Even saying it again, I feel like it's going to trigger another layer somewhere within me, but it's okay. So, this is around happiness, around that fifth dimensional theme of consciousness, right? That unity consciousness. Are you guys ready for this? Okay. Nobody can hurt me without my permission. Ah! Crazy, right? Like, so crazy powerful. If you've been struggling with boundaries and, like, just, like, you know, going through constantly having people, like, think they can run you and run you over, like, let me tell you, every time that that you allow somebody to take your happiness away, right, which is what happens in that situation, you know? Like, okay, for example, I remember one time I was door dashing, and so, like, you have to, like, follow, like, the app, right, like, through the orders and stuff, and once you pick up an order, like, it waits for you to, like, press confirm, and I would always press confirm once I had, like, the food in my hand, right, because I want the customers to know how accurately timed everything is. Like, I want them to know, like, hey, the restaurant's taking forever, it's not me, kind of thing. And so anyway, this girl was like, can you press confirm for me? And I was like, you don't tell me what to do. And, like, literally in that moment, I gave away my happiness and got super defensive. And I literally traded my happiness for defensiveness. And I'm, like, reflecting back on that, I'm like, oh my gosh, had I just, like, been so unbothered by what she said and just ignored her, like, I could have retained my happiness. And then it goes back to that quote that nobody can hurt you without your permission. And I think that's so freaking deep and so powerful. But anyways, I had to throw that in there before I got off on here. So, okay. If you guys loved this podcast episode, please go to the Apple doohickey thingy, Spotify thing, wherever you're listening to this. Please rate me 5 stars so it helps the algorithm. It helps get my channel out there to help awaken all of those who need this, who need to hear this information, who need their consciousness expanded. I would so much appreciate that. Just a quick little reminder, be sure to check out my sexual trauma healing course. It is on my website, already live. That is ready to go. It's $88 and it's yours for life. You can totally revisit it as much times as you need to and as much times as you want. The financial wound healing course and my yoga membership, that is launching December 1st, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure to create your accounts, guys, on my website so you are in a safe, private, protected space. And then last but not least, be sure to check me out at Heighten Vitality in Draper, Utah. I'm so excited to be doing Sound Ambassador Monthly starting December 15th. It's going to be so epic and so deep. So if you live in the Salt Lake County area or maybe Utah County area, if you're close by, please be sure to check me out. Check out Heighten Vitality. They're amazing. They're very powerful. So yeah, I love you guys so, so much. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Drink lots of water and get some rest and be easy on yourselves and have an amazing rest of your week. I love you so, so much.